All right, hello, and welcome to a spotlight session on your guide to data connectivity and connect. My name is Jiyeon Hwang, and I am a senior product manager for our Connect portfolio group at AVEVA, specializing in data connectivity. I'm here today to help you get started and with determining what best products and offerings we have that will help you with your data collection needs in Connect. So throughout the conference, you've probably already seen a number of these products and services that have been shown at presentations or at the kiosks through demos. But how do you know which of these solutions will be the best for your needs? Maybe a better way to look at this would be to look at what kind of problems you're trying to solve. So maybe it's dependent on your environment, or maybe it's the type of data source you're trying to work with, or maybe it's even performance and scale. As the session title suggests, we will be focusing on data connectivity for Connect. So there are a lot of AVEVA products that you may not see during this presentation, as we have a lot of other products that help you collect data for other AVEVA systems. So if you do have some questions around those, there are a lot of kiosks out there at the Innovation Zone that you can also check out. We also have a lot of other sessions as well that I can also point you to. All right. So whether you're already familiar with AVEVA's offerings or you're new to AVEVA, you've probably had some questions around, how should I manage all the systems, the solutions, and what kind of environment can I work with? So maybe deployment is one of your biggest concerns. You may need to have your data collection products deployed completely on-prem due to your network policies, or maybe you can manage completely cloud-based architecture. And most likely, if you're here for Connect and you've been an AVEVA customer for a while, you're probably looking for more of a hybrid setup. I'll go through a number of different products and how you can actually manage them on different environments. So we'll start with AVEVA Adapters and AVEVA Edge Data Store. If you're not familiar with them, you can use them to collect real-time data from PLCs, DCS, IoT devices on the edge, or even on your current plant floors. You can deploy these on Linux or Windows, so you have a bit more flexibility on what operating system you can deploy to. If you need to deploy and configure these products locally or on-prem, we have a product called Edge Command Utility that will allow you to configure your adapters and Edge Data Store all through a utility, command line-based utility. Now, if you're looking to try to templatize your adapters and EDS for a more scalable deployment, we do offer the ability to containerize these products as well. And lastly, one thing that we are introducing during this conference is the adapter configuration utility. So if you're already an adapter user, you might have been wondering, when are you going to introduce a UI? So good news, we finally have a UI product that we're introducing, and Johnny Pegg will be sharing more about this during tomorrow's spotlight session at 9:30 a.m. So please come back if you want to check out more on that particular product. You'll notice that it's currently just under the AVEVA adapter section. We are planning on extending it to Edge Data Store as well. So there's a lot more development that will be happening in the future around it. Now, if you're looking for more hybrid or cloud-based deployment or configuration experience, we have a Connect service offering called AVEVA Edge Management. It seems like a lot of people have been wondering about it. I've had a lot of conversations with folks about it as well. It'll help you deploy and manage containerized versions of adapters and Edge Data Store from a central portal page. So it makes it a lot easier for you to manage everything in one place. But what makes it hybrid or cloud-based or all cloud-based really depends on where you're trying to deploy your adapters and EDS to. So if it's an on-prem system or an edge device, then it'll be more of a hybrid scenario. You can also have VMs that you're hosting in the cloud that you can also deploy to. Now, moving on to AVEVA agents, these products configuration experience is solely hybrid, as the agents are installed close to the AVEVA systems that they're collecting data from. So if you're working with the AVEVA Pi server or AVEVA Historian, you're probably already familiar with these. Well, the agent configuration utilities provide provided with the AVEVA agent setup kits are available on the agent device themselves. So you would have to get them installed and start the configuration on-prem. But then you also have to authenticate to Connect to be able to send data to Connect. So that is why it's a hybrid offering. And then next we have the Gateway Data Publisher. If you're mostly working with engineering data, you may be familiar with this one already. But if you're using the Gateway Data Publisher, you're using it in conjunction with Data Pipeline, a Connect service, to help you build your digital twin. You'll be installing the publisher on the device and configuring it to read documents from various document management systems and sending that data through to Data Pipeline service, which interacts with different Connect data services. And lastly, we have Connect Flows, AVEVA's newest data connectivity offering. And you've probably already seen some presentations. I know David Nienhaus had one at the Connect Lounge today. It used to be called Crosshair Flows, but now we're integrating into our Connect offering. So you can use Flows in a hybrid or cloud-based configuration using Flow runtime being deployed onto a physical device, or you can have a cloud deployed node as well. And flows are managed purely through Flow Manager, which is available in Connect. So you can get to the central management portal page to be able to configure all of this. So let's say if the environment you're working with isn't the issue, maybe just knowing what you can connect to for your data sources. This is probably the most common question we get asked, since there are so many different protocols out there that customers are using, a lot of different sources are popping up. So to start off with the simplest scenario, I'll look at the AVEVA systems that we have available right now. So as mentioned, we have AVEVA agents that will allow you to connect to our AVEVA systems to collect that data and send it up to Connect. So we currently have Pi2 Connect agent, AVEVA Historian agent, and AVEVA Events to Connect agent available for you to use today. Now, if you're interested in collecting data from other external systems, we have a lot more options for you. So you have a lot more decisions to make around it. So if you're trying to collect real-time data from PLCs, DCS, IoT devices, any other field assets that you have available, you have an option to use AVEVA Adapters, AVEVA Edge Data Store, and Connect Flows, depending on what your business needs are. They offer either out-of-the-box or low-code options for setting up connections to the data sources. And you can easily send that data to Connect. Now for engineering data, as mentioned, you're probably already working with Data Pipeline and Gateway Data Publisher. And if you're, let's say, a partner or you're trying to find a more custom data connectivity offering from what we offer, you have ways to create your own custom OMF-based applications. So we've had OMF code samples available throughout the years since we introduced them. And you can access them through a AVEVA GitHub page. But I also want to call out the adapter framework. This is something that's new that you haven't seen before. And we are working on open sourcing the adapter framework so that you can get all the benefits of our current AVEVA adapters, such as buffering, history recovery, and failover, without having to start from scratch. So if it's something that you're interested in, this will be out for public access around Q3 this year. So now, what if your biggest concern is around data collection method? So which products offer real-time data collection? How about historical data? And what if I need batch or event data? So as I alluded to earlier, AVEVA adapters support real-time data collection. This is probably going to be your simplest way to get that real-time data. We do offer a few adapters that also allow for historical access or historical data access or history recovery. Now, if we look at Edge Data Store, with it being a storage product itself, you can collect real-time data and historize it all in one product. So this is kind of a nice, little package for storing that information that you might need to access down the line. So as for AVEVA agents, Pi2 Connect agent and AVEVA Historian agent both allow for you to collect real-time data and historical data from their respective AVEVA systems. And AVEVA Events to Connect agent offer you the ability to collect batch and event data, as well as the historical data that exists in MES and AVEVA production management systems. Connect Flows offer the most wide range of options in terms of data collection methods they offer. So if you haven't seen Flows in action, again, I mentioned the Connect Lounge had a session where they show some demos around how you can put flows together. But you'll be able to easily kind of put modules together to find a data collection method that works best for you. All right. Now, if the most important thing on your mind is making sure your data is highly available and you have some level of redundancy in your system, your best bet is going to be to use an AVEVA adapter. So this is assuming you're not using a Viva system like a Pi server where you already have the historical data. This is more for collecting that real-time data from different assets in your field. So with the Viva adapters, you can configure them in failover. So depending on the adapter you're using, you may also have a server level failover available, but all of our adapter offerings offer client level failover. So we give you the option to use 2 different versions of client failover service, depending on your architecture. So if Connect is where you want to manage everything, we do have a cloud-based client failover service that you can use. Or if you need to have a failover service that's closer to the adapters and offline, then you can use an on-prem installation to manage all your failover needs. So the failover service monitors the adapter's heartbeat data as well as the failover score that's presented by the adapter to promote whichever is the healthiest adapter to a primary role. So assuming, let's say the secondary gets promoted, then it will start sending that data. And we also support hot, warm, or cold failover depending on what you need. So you have a way to manage your failover configuration in the best way possible for your company. And last but not least, probably the most often sought after information is how performant and scalable our different products are. So unfortunately, this topic is very difficult to really give you a definitive answer around, since there are so many factors that impact your product's performance, such as how your hardware resources are allocated across different services, your data source performance, or even network latency. So that being said, I'm going to be more general in how I cover this topic, and we can talk more about the actual performance in your various environments. So let's look at the volume of data against the variety of connectivity that you're working with. And if there are other combinations you'd like to kind of chat about, I can definitely stay after and we can discuss. So I'll start with AVEVA agents. AVEVA agents support the highest volume of data as of now with all of our offerings, but they're very specific to what data source you're connecting to. So it's a little bit more inflexible in terms of where you're collecting data from. And they're also available currently only for Windows, so it's a little bit more confined to a specific environment. AVEVA adapters also support fairly high volume of data, but not as much as AVEVA agents, mostly because of the nature of the data sources you might be connecting to. However, they're able to collect data from a number of different sources and assets, so it gives them a bit of an edge in terms of variety. And they can also, as I mentioned, be deployed on Windows or Linux. So it's a little bit more flexible. And you can also have standalone installation, or you can have containers. So a bit more flexibility there too. Now, AVEVA Edge Data Store is similar to adapters in that you can collect data from a lot of different places. Inherently, it comes with an OPC UA or Modbus adapter capabilities, but you can use it in conjunction with our adapters to collect data from different sources as well. It does get a slight edge over adapters in terms of variability, just because you can collect the data and store it as well. It does handle a lower volume of data compared to adapters and AVEVA agents, so it may not need meet your high volume use cases. So Gateway Data Publisher is an interesting one because it doesn't handle the same kind of data as the other products I just mentioned. But I wanted to show kind of where it fits into the picture. So the publisher is primarily used to collect engineering data, which can be in the form of 1D, 2D, or 3D data. And so the volume of data really varies depending on where you're pulling that data from. But you can still read from a lot of different document management systems, so it has more variety than AVEVA agents do, just not as much as what adapters can support because you're calling from more variety of protocols. And lastly, connect flows are also difficult to pin down the performance just because it offers you that flexibility of where you can collect data from, but also gives you the option to do more operations on that data before you send it to your data endpoint. So depending on the operations you're doing on the data itself before you send it over, you might be taxing the system a bit more. So again, will really vary on what you're trying to accomplish with your flows and what you're trying to do for your business. So I hope this was a good introduction. It was supposed to be a high-level look at what offerings we have, so you can go out and really look for the details at our kiosks and presentations. But hopefully this will be a good starting point for your Connect journey. And so this might be of more interest to you since there's a lot more Connect sessions coming up. So we have a lot going on today and tomorrow. My colleague Victor and I will be hosting a roundtable tomorrow morning. If you have any use cases right now that you really want to talk through, have some peer input, feel free to join us tomorrow for the roundtable. And I mentioned the AVEVA Adapter Configuration Utility session happening right here at 9:30 in the morning. So please join Johnny for a demo and also what's coming with that product. And there are plenty of other Connect Flow related sessions that have been happening as well. So I know that's a really exciting one for a lot of users at this conference. So please do check those out. And I will leave this up. If you have any questions for me, I'll stick around. But thank you for your time.